limits. It makes it difficult to continue to provide social services to the city. I propose that we look at establishing a new city so that we can move some of the agencies out of the city in order to reduce the pressure on Accra. Can you imagine if Nigeria had not built Abuja today? Lagos would have been in gridlock. You will not be able to even walk in Lagos because it would have been shut down. So I said we must start thinking about creating a new city and moving some of the agencies and departments out of the city. But of course, we must connect the two cities with good transportation network so that people can go back and forth. And aside from that, it gives us an opportunity to plan that city better and ease the gridlock in Accra. An immediate project, I said I envisage that it will take about 20 years to complete, but we must start somewhere. And that's why I said we'll start the feasibility and planning in the 4 years that I'm president. Other people will come and begin to implement. And we have the opportunity because the Volta Lake and the river are there. There will be access to clean water. We can make it a smart city where the services are provided. There will be no kiosk and containers littered all over the place. We'll provide markets so that you want to go to the market. There's a properly organized market and everything. There are supermarkets, there are schools, there are parks for recreation and all that. We can even make it a tourist center. We can create amusement parks so that families can go there and have amusement. We can have a water park. We have no water park in this country where you can go with your family and have a nice time. And so I envisage that if we start towards it, we might not live to see the end of it for some of us, but our children and our children's children will benefit from the establishment of a new city like that. Will you review the IMF policy? We will not cancel the IMF policy. It is a policy that our government has signed on to, and they signed on behalf of government of Ghana. Indeed, when the crisis was reaching epic proportions, we actually asked them to go to the IMF for support because this economy was going to crash, and it would have crashed with severe consequences. Remember, we will not go to the IMF. We will not go to the IMF today, tomorrow, or as long as we remain in power. We will not go to the IMF. We will not go to the IMF. Eventually, we told them that if you don't go to the IMF walking, you will go in an ambulance. And they ended up there in an ambulance. And so the conditionalities are stringent than if we had gone earlier. And so, yes, we've landed in the IMF. We will work with the IMF. There are opportunities in the agreement for tweaking the agreement in some ways, not cancelling it. And so, as a new government that comes, we immediately have to sit with the IMF, look at the conditionalities that we're giving, and see how we can tweak them to suit our present circumstances. Things are clearer now, because at the time they signed the IMF agreement, the debt restructuring had not been concluded. Today, it has been concluded, even with the international bondholders. And so we have a more predictable trajectory about how our loans are going to have to be repaid. Even this year, we're supposed to pay $400 and something million of the debt. I don't know where government is going to get that money. We probably will use some of the money the IMF themselves are giving us to pay for it. And that will create problems for the city because we don't have the kind of injection of foreign currency that we should have. I'm committed to the affirmative action bill. The last time I met with the speaker, I urged him to make sure that he passes it in his term as speaker, and that the women of Ghana will be very grateful to him if he's able to pass the affirmative action bill before the life of this parliament ends. Historically, it's one of the bills that has lasted the longest under consideration, and I think that the time has come for us to have an affirmative action bill. That one and the amendment to the citizens bill to allow our dual citizens to participate even in a greater way in the administration of this country. And so that bill too should be passed. The dual citizens should be amended to allow dual citizens to be able to participate. Those two bills are pending before Parliament, and I urge the Speaker to make sure that he passes them before the life of this Parliament ends. General elections, yes, I remember.